Done.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another ASEA Global Expansion Team Zoom. We have the amazing John Bash as our guest speaker tonight. And our topic, we're going to talk about this amazing 2x promotion that's wrapping up the end of this month. And the great thing about this promotion is don't take the pedal off the metal, because it goes all the way through this Friday. And if you were to sponsor somebody on Friday, they still have that 14 days to help their first two people go director, so that they can earn the double director bonus and you can earn the double fast start bonus. So that it's going to go on beyond this Friday, although the plug is going to be pulled on Friday. The promotion will end on Friday. So we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about the importance of duplication, because a lot of people come out of corporate America. They come out of, some kind of job, or maybe they're self-employed, or maybe they have a small business, or maybe they are a bigwig at a big corporation. And then they come into network marketing and they try to do the same skill set that they've been doing in corporate America. And it doesn't work, because in corporate America, you've got to be the best of the best. If you're not, somebody will take your job, or maybe you'll get fired. And in network marketing, it's about duplication. It's about a lot of people doing a little bit. So we want to show people how to do this simply by using the tools, and so that many people across the globe, regardless of what country they live in, regardless of what language they speak, regardless if they have a microbiology degree or if they're a professional ski instructor, it doesn't matter what kind of background. This is about human beings helping human beings learn about one of the most significant scientific breakthroughs of our lifetime. So we're going to talk to John Bash. He's an amazing trainer, understands this industry, has been in this industry for a long time. So I hope you have your notepad and your paper ready. And John, thanks so much for joining us. We're over to you.
Okay, thank you. So first of all, good evening to everybody out there. And I'd like to obviously thank Cindy and Bo Buck for asking me to share some ideas with you tonight. It's an opportunity that I'm humbled by, and at the same time, I'm hoping to share some information with each of you that you'll find both valuable and useful in your ASEA journey. Now, as Cindy just mentioned, I've been asked to address a couple of specific topics. One, of course, is the ASEA's current promotion, and then duplication. And I want to be clear, duplication is critical. It's one of the most critical things that's going to happen for you and your business. And we're going to get into that in just a minute, but make a little note to yourself that it is critical, because if you don't have good duplication, you're going to find out things aren't working so well. So let's quickly address that first topic, which is ASEA's 2x2 promotion. Now, whether you're a new associate or you've been around for a while, everything in this industry starts basically the same way. So what I'm going to ask you to do, if you're listening tonight, is take out a sheet of paper, put it in front of you, and I want you to do what we had to do many years ago, and that's simple. I want you to draw a circle at the top of the page and write "you" in the center of that circle. Then draw a short straight line down and draw another circle. Leave that blank. And then 2 lines off of that and 2 additional circles. Because what we're going to do here tonight, we're going to talk about duplication. And I think you're going to figure out, or at least I'm going to try to point out, that what ASEA has done in this promotion is promoted duplication. And they've given you a roadmap, if you will, how to make that happen, and by just giving you that diagram. And if you've written that down on paper, as I've asked you to do, you're looking at a diagram that will create promotion for you, and will create duplication for you if you follow what we're going to chat about here in a couple seconds. So if you have those circles, then you can basically set your pencil or pen down for just a second, unless you'd like to write some other note down or something I might say. But I don't care whether you've done this 1,000 times, make sure that you follow along here, because it's going to be very important. Because what you've just done is you've diagrammed exactly what you personally need to do to both qualify for the ASEA promotion and to, of course, understand the second topic, which again is duplication. So let's quickly address the ASEA promotion. You, which is the first circle, And of course, I'm the sponsor of this new associate that we're going to be talking about. Because if you understand what's going to happen is you're going to sponsor one new person. And this is going to be a simple point because I like to keep things simple. When you sponsor one new person between now and Friday, that's the only thing I want you to think about. And I'll probably say that 3 or 4 times, but it's one person. This is not going to be, something that's terribly hard for you to do. We're going to try to keep you in a mindset where you keep it as simple as you possibly can. So right where you're at, when you sponsor the first person, that first circle that's in there, you of course earn your normal fast start bonus, your fast start commissions, which is 20% of the new members order that you've sponsored. However, what you've also done is you've created an opportunity for yourself and for that new person, because what that opportunity is you're going to be able to double your fast start commission. And remember, normally you're going to make 20% as a fast start commission of the initial order of the person that you sponsor. But in this case, once you've sponsored that person before Friday, you've started a clock that's going to last another 2 weeks to give you an opportunity to turn that 20% commission into a 40% commission, because you'll be able to double it. And on your efforts over those following 2 weeks, you're also going to be helping your new member to earn their fast start bonuses on each of their 2 members that they sponsor, which is going to be the filling in that little diagram below. But they will double their commission, their director bonus on top of their fast start bonuses that they're getting from the sponsorship process. So they too have a very similar opportunity as you do. But more importantly, what you have helped your new member do is pay for at least a part, if not all, of their initial product order in their first 2 weeks here in ASEA, which is huge. And we'll get to that in just a minute. But in short, what I want to do is I want to keep this as simple for you as possible. So simple that, an 11-year-old can understand it and figure it out. Because when it gets more complicated than that, then people's eyes start rolling in the back of their head, or they smile and nod politely, and they don't understand anything you're saying. So what I'm trying to do for you right now is to help you understand that it's going to be a very simple process. And as I mentioned a few minutes ago, you have only one thing that you need to do, just one, and that is sponsor a new associate before the close of business this coming Friday. That's it. That's your entire focus. There's nothing else for you to do, because once that's done, then you'll move on to the next step of helping your new member sponsor their 2 people within that 14 days of their first enrollment. But don't get your mind off target now. You need to have laser focus on one thing only, and that is sponsoring that one new person. That's it. Then you'll be on to that next step. So in case you haven't thought this out, I mentioned it a minute ago. If you look at that diagram, it is now a business plan you can set in front of your prospect and show them what they're going to earn in that process. Because stop and think about this. How many times, if you've been in a network marketing company in the past, how many times has your sponsor actually sat you down and put a business plan in front of you in order for you to earn some money? How many times has that happened? My guess is going to be 0. I know that you'd be very lucky if you found a sponsor that took that kind of time with you. And typically, people who leave this industry, more often than not, the product that they represented was a good one, because virtually every product in the network marketing industry has to be good in order for the prices that are charged for those products. And 2, what typically happens is it's not the product that they left because they never made any money. And they never, when they don't make money, then, as you're going to hear me say in a few minutes, the life distractions start getting in the way, and we'll get into that in just a second. But the most important thing is by you taking the single step, and you have probably done something for your prospect no one else has ever done, and you've basically placed them on a path to succeed. And you're showing them exactly what it looks like and what it's going to have to be accomplished in that time frame, which makes it simple for them to understand. and not have to get all tied up in our compensation plan or any nuances of the plan or anything of that nature. They have a single focus, just like you want to have a single focus until you sponsored this very first person between now and Friday. And again, this all fits right in with one of the most important things I like to teach on the subject of getting people started right. And that is simple. You have about 4 to 5 weeks maximum to get some success in your new member's pocket when they've joined. If you don't get that done, what you're doing is you're putting your business in the hands of chance. And as soon as you've done that, usually what's going to happen is that new member, if they don't have any success, then their product becomes expensive. And those encroaching voices of family and relatives and friends start telling them that it was a bad decision to get involved, that those things never work, and that bottom line is you probably wasted your money. And when nothing else seems to be working right for that person, all those life distractions I mentioned a minute ago get in the way, and your new member will just simply drift off into the sunset, and you probably won't hear from them again. And usually every time you try to call and leave a message, you never get your call returned. And a lot of people in the industry like to say that they've gone into the witness protection program, because that's kind of what happens. They just disappear. So duplication, the duplication part is important because it'll bring you to the point where you can accomplish this 2x2 process, that the promotion that the company has placed in front of you. Because again, it's designed to create duplication. And if you just take this little model that I had you draw up, once you're able to accomplish that, what's going to happen is now all you have to do is duplicate that again and again and again and again. Yeah, we may not have a promotion at a time that doubles your income, but you'll still get your normal commissions, but your team is growing. And that is the important aspect. You're growing a business team. Because growing an ASEA team or any company that somebody would work for, there's only one reason you do that. It's not to make money. It's not to have a lot of people. It's to bring your company's products to market. That's it. If ASEA's products don't go to market, we're all out of business. So our job is to build a downline to bring our company's products to market. And you can check on yourself and how well you're doing by just taking a look at the size of your organization and what's happening within your organization. Are you building with what I like to call addition, or are you building by multiplication? Because the reality of it is, if it's just you, if you're the only person who's building your business, it is not a business. It's a job. You have a job. And you didn't come here to have a job. You came here to build a business. And the name of the game is to build your business properly. You know, in this industry, there's a lot of different thoughts that people have put out there over the years that I've heard, and many of them I'm sure you have too. Some of them say, if it isn't simple, it won't duplicate. Others will say, it's not whether it works, it's whether it'll duplicate. But it's been said in hundreds of different ways. And the reality of it is, it's true. These analogies are facts, or I should say even truisms, because they've been generated through the experience of others that have gone before you in this industry. And you know, one thing that is important to understand is there is nothing new in this industry. You know, as Cindy said, I've got a lot of experience. I've been in the industry more than 35 years, and that's including some breaks in between. But I'm still hearing the exact same things, no matter what person out, whether inside or outside of this company, is talking about. Those are the same things I heard when I was 20 years old, when I first got into this industry. It's the same thing. There's no secret. You're not going to go and buy a book that gives you the secret to success. The secret is simple. You have to follow the system that is placed in front of you. And the company has one right now that will take you to the top. If you accomplish it once, then you've learned how to do it. And once you've learned how to do it, you can do it again and again and again and again. And it'll keep happening over and over and over again. And you'll be building these little teams of individuals that are all succeeding, because your process is getting success into the pocket of the new member within the first 4 to 5 weeks. When you give them some success, they can see the next level. Until then, they don't believe it's possible because it's not happening for them. That's our job as leaders and as the sponsor, is to take our responsibility in seriously, to be able to make sure they get absolutely what they came for. If they came for health, then we stick with them on the phones, periodic calls every week or so to make sure they're on track to get the result. If they came for the business, then our job is to get money in their pocket within those first 4 to 5 weeks, so that they've got pushback when those encroaching voices say, why did you do that? They can say, well, I've already made some money. I've already got some people using the product. I've already got some customers. This is already working for me. And because of the way our business is structured, they're going to get some spillover most of the time, not all the time, but they're going to get some spillover, which also will excite that individual, that they see something is growing below them. So it's important that we work along this level, if you will. So think of it this way. If you don't, as I said a minute ago, if you don't have duplication going on, remember, then what's happening for you is you have a job. And as I said a minute ago, you didn't come here to have a job. You came here to grow a business that would provide the income and the resources for whatever it was you wanted that you couldn't have doing what you were doing previously before you came here. And another thought to keep in mind too, this is a business that the most important aspect for you to understand, because you're working with people, is human nature. Understand what makes people do what they do. Because if you can put yourself in the position of the individual that you're talking to. As an example, this morning I was doing a coaching call with one of my silvers, and this individual was telling me about a female in his team who she said that one of the things that she wanted to do was build her business in a godlike fashion, which is great. I'm all for that. But the reality of it is she has done virtually zero so far. And if she was going to do it in a godlike fashion, one of the major tenets that she would have, biblical tenets, is love your neighbors yourself. And if you understand the product, you'd be loving your neighbor with that product. So something is keeping that person from taking that action step. So I suggested to him that he get involved, help her with her contacts, and the two of them make the telephone calls to get that person on board. And if they get that person on board before Friday, then they're going to be a part of this process as well. So in addressing duplication, and again, it's a huge role that it plays. It all begins in any team, and you are the top of your team. If you're listening right now, you're at the top of the pole in your particular team. So it begins when you, at the top of your team, accepts the fact that your weekly commissions and your monthly bonus checks come in your name only. And so in other words, it's what you do that's going to determine whether or not the success happens. So you have to put the importance of that on yourself, and then put the time and energy in to make sure that every single member that you bring to the table, you are hand carrying them until they demonstrate they do not deserve your time. And some of the people, when I say this to them, they get a little, they get a little taken back because they think it's a little too harsh. It's not harsh. As I say to them, you have to sit down with this person and just basically give them some tough love. But you first of all have to know what it is they came here for. So if you don't know that, you're in trouble. Because if they came here because there was something extremely important to them that they wanted more than anything else in life, and you don't know what that is, and they get in a funk, and you sit down and say, well, see, is a great product, you can make a lot of money, you can do, that's going in one ear and out the other for that individual. You've got to hit them with what they told you was the most important thing in life. Bill, you said to me, the most important thing in your life was getting your wife home on a full-time basis, because she's working in some job outside of the house and the kids are growing up without both of you. When you said that to me, were you being honest, or was that just a flippant thing that you threw out that day? You have to come back at them with that. You have to step into, because if you want to get duplication, duplication is getting your new member to do what you know how to do. And usually, how do we learn anything in life? We learned it when somebody else showed us how to do it, not when they told us, when they showed us how to make it happen. You learned how to walk when you were a little baby. You were crawling around on the floor and you looked up and your little brain saw these people walking around. You thought, well, that's a better idea than this crawling business. So what'd you do? You walked or crawled over to a coffee table or something, and you grabbed onto those things and pulled your little self up and your little wobbly legs. And then you tried to take a step and boom, you went down. And how many hundreds of times has that happened to a young baby? But do they ever in their head think they'll never be able to walk? We have to have the attitude that we know what we want and that we're going to take the action step necessary to get what we want. And the way we get what we want is helping that new member get what they want first. And you've heard this as well in the industry. You've heard, I know Zig Ziglar, for example, always say, you can help, you can have anything in life you want if you'll help enough other people get what they want. I took that to heart. In fact, I had one of my very first things as a new distributor in the company I joined at 20 years old was I was the number one new distributor in the company at that time in San Diego area. I got a chance to introduce Zig Ziglar for one of his first events. And those things still stuck with me all these years, that how important it is to take that new member and walk them through the process and not just give them instructions and let them go do it on their own, because they're going to get frustrated. And if you'll think about this for a minute, when a person gets frustrated, they get mad. And when they get mad, they want it to stop. And when they want it to stop, the easiest thing to do is to quit, because it's quitting the frustration. It's not necessarily, at least in the beginning, quitting the business. It's quitting the frustration. So they'll set it down. And when they set it down, that enthusiasm they had when they joined, the idea of the products that they had in their mind and heart, everything that they believed. And if you think about this for a second, every single person listening, when you first heard about this product, you thought, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing thing on the planet. Everybody's going to want this product. No, they won't. Why? Because every one of you could have the fountain of youth in your backyard, and you will have friends and relatives that won't drink because they don't believe. Our job is to bridge the gap between where they are and where we are. Help them come to us, to want to come to what we have, as opposed to us pushing what we have on them. And we have to teach our new member that from the get-go. And here's the beautiful part about it. We all are looking for leaders, the people that can really build it up and make our life so much easier, because we're standing on the shoulders of all these people that have the skill sets that we're looking for. But guess what? A lot of your leaders are going to be built by you. They're going to be built by the way you trained them. They're going to be built by the way you hand carried them. They're going to be built how you walked them through how to make the phone calls that they needed to make. Because for the average person that comes to this business, the phone gets really heavy in the morning when it's time to make those calls. At night, they'll make their list of everybody they want to talk to. They'll have such a positive attitude. Oh, this person's going to love it. And they'll write that list down. But the following morning, you know what's going to happen is they're going to go and grab the phone. And then they're going to say, you know what, before I do that, I'm going to go get a cup of coffee. And they'll go get their coffees, and they'll spend 5 or 10 minutes making the coffee. And they'll come back to sit down. Then they'll look at the clock and they'll go, oh gosh, Bill's probably on his way to work right now. And I don't want to call him when he's in the car, because he could get distracted and maybe he'll get in a wreck, and boom, that wouldn't be any good. So I'll wait until lunchtime, and then I'll give him a call, because I know he'll be on a break then. And then lunchtime rolls around and they'll say, oh, gosh, Bill only gets 30 minutes. It's going to take me 15. He won't get to eat his lunch. So I'll call him tonight at the end of the evening. And when the end of the evening comes, it's the same routine. And the worst part about it is that positive little voice in the back of their head that helped them make that list is now lambasting them because they didn't make the call during the day, and now they feel really bad. And they say, I'll make it up tomorrow, and they do it, and they go through the same routine. It's like the Groundhog Day scenario. They keep facing that same burden every day because it's not that they haven't talked to the people on the telephone before. It's that they really don't know what they're going to say. They've heard you or me or anybody else give them some little scripts to kind of think through of how they can open the conversation and whatnot. But guess what happens? Again, the phone gets heavy. So the way you get around that is you help make some calls for them. And what I like to teach people to do in my group is I want to make sure they've got a list of at least 100 names, because we're trying to make this duplicatable. And what's going to happen is you have to keep in mind that you're creating duplication from the moment you first talk to your prospect, from day one. Because once they join, they're going to try to do basically what you did. Because duplication is just basically copying something and repeating it. Copy, repeat, copy, repeat, copy, repeat. That's all duplication is. And to think, if I wanted to get to the position of, let's say, a gold, what do I need? All we need to know is how many Director 300s we need, how many 700s we need, how many, and you just keep going up the ladder, and it tells you, and you will know what it is. So getting duplication is going to be you understanding what needs to be done first. Once you understand what needs to be done, then you have to teach every single person that comes to the table that is you're sponsoring. And as you're doing that, you're teaching them what they will be doing. Because initially our teaching process can be hard at times. And the hard part is not teaching somebody how to do it. It's teaching them how to teach someone else to do it. That's where it gets difficult. Because again, it's another jump or another leap in confidence with inside that individual. And so what you typically can do is have them role play and a few other things. But I think, again, what is really important to you tonight is Friday. Friday is a deadline. That deadline, if you don't sponsor somebody by Friday, it's over for you for this particular promotion. If you do sponsor somebody by Friday, you got 2 more weeks to really help somebody build quickly and get double their director bonus and get the commissions that they will receive as a result of their initial sponsoring fast start commissions. So this is a chance for you. And I would like you to say to yourself, well, why not me? And why not now? Why can't I get this done? Of course you can. You can do it. Everybody here is capable of doing it. If you throw away the idea that you're selling somebody something, and all you're going to be doing is sharing a wonderful product with them. And if they see the benefit in the product, they'll understand that there's got to be a good financial opportunity tied to it, because people all around you are begging for what we have. They're broke. People everywhere. But more than 70% of the US population can't pay their credit card debt. That's terrible. Think about that. Yet everything that's out there that could teach them how to succeed is there. It's on bookshelves. It's like those books I have behind me there. I can't tell you how many books I've read. I've read 90% of what's behind me. And those books would take people to where they want to go, but they don't know the questions to ask. So they just kind of accept life as it comes. It's our job to change that, to get them off of that track, to get them on the track to succeed. And the best way to help your people succeed is to make sure that you hand carry them in the beginning until they can do it themselves, so that they've proven that they can do it themselves. And once they've proven it, then you've got to be there to congratulate them and celebrate with them. Make them feel good about what they've done, because that recognition on top of the success is what gives them the courage to make that next call and the next one and the next one. But if you just kind of say, okay, you're on board, okay, here's your stuff, get started. Here's the videos you can watch. Here's the training calls that are out there. Be sure to get on them. And then you're off to try to recruit somebody else. Let me tell you, there are people out there that can recruit a lot of people. But here's what I want to tell you. If you teach your people and you do it right, the good news is you don't have to recruit as many people. Because if you've got people who know how to do this business, you can cut the numbers way down. And yeah, you'll always be recruiting because it's going to be in your heart to share something with somebody. But it's not desperation recruiting. It's not, I've got to get somebody in my business. I've got to get a new customer. It's going to be you knowing that when you're bringing a new person on board, you're going to sit down with them and spend the time that's necessary to get them from point A to point B. And when they get to point B, and in my belief, you should stay with them until they get to bronze. Because the bronze level, it's not like you give them up at bronze. Don't get me wrong. You stay with them to the bronze level because by then they've got a good idea of what it means to be a manager of people. And if you've trained them properly, they're training the people properly. And when your whole team is doing the same thing that you do, is when you have duplication. And duplication is, again, it's everything. And without it, you're in trouble. It's like I said, it's a job. You're going to be working your tail off for, you can make good money in spite of everything else. But the reality of it is, if you really want to make the big bucks, you've got to get out and teach your people one at a time, and then teach them how to do the same. And if you teach 5 and you've got those 5 teaching 5, that's when your business will start growing. And from there, it turns into a lot of other things. And I'll kind of close with a quick little story here that I think is sort of apropos for this circumstance. And it was about a famous magician. We've all heard the name in the past, but Harry Houdini, you all heard that name at some point in your life. But most people knew he was a magician, but didn't know that he was also a master locksmith. And he was a very prideful guy. He had a lot of confidence. In fact, sometimes I thought a little too much confidence. But what he boasted at one point in time, that he could escape from any jail cell in the world in less than 1 hour, provided he could go into the cell dressed in his street clothes. Well, there was back then when he was alive, that's been a lot of years ago, long before I was here, or probably you, but a small town in the British Isles, which is now Ireland, had recently built a new jail that they were extremely proud of. They thought they had something really cool. So what they did is they issued Houdini a financial challenge, stating that they believed that Houdini would not be able to break out of their newly completed lockup. Well, Houdini, of course, loved the publicity and the money that they were offering, so he accepted the challenge. And by the time he arrived in that little small town in Ireland, the excitement was at a fever pitch. Houdini rode triumphantly in town and was standing back proud with his head swiveling around, looking at the people and waving at the people as they were riding through the town. And when they got in front of the jail cell, he stepped down and out of the carriage, then walked into the facility with the police officers and into the actual cell. Confidence was oozing from him the moment that he walked in as they closed the door behind him. Houdini simply took off his coat, set it on the bench, and went to work on the lock. At the end of 30 minutes, his confident expression had completely disappeared. At the end of an hour, he was drenched in perspiration. And after 2 full hours, Houdini literally collapsed and fell against the door, which popped open. You see, it had never been locked, except in his mind. And the lesson we can all learn from that is his failed attempt is many times in life, just a little bit more, a little push more would have made the difference for him. And all I want to say to you is, don't let those things in your mind, that little voice in your mind, talk you out of your own success. That little push, I'm hoping that story will give you that little push, that you'll say to yourself tonight, I'm going to make that happen. I'm going to recruit somebody by Friday. I'm going to get that person in and I'm going to work with that person and I'm going to make that person a diamond. And if you'll have that attitude, you will be surprised what happens within your organization. The people will show up that you're looking for because your mind will be in the right frame. And what you're going to be doing is attracting those things into your world that you're trying to find and you're working so hard to make happen. They'll come to you easily when you have taken the action steps to help the other people around you. And again, Cindy and Bo, I appreciate your allowing me to share a few thoughts with the folks, and God bless you guys for all you do for ASEA and do these meetings as often as you do. So God bless you both.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So much. You're so right. The company has set up an amazing promotion for us that teaches us how to do the business properly. So if we structure our business plan around the promotion, it'll teach us duplication. So yeah, excellent, excellent training. Thank you so much, John.
John,
Really appreciate
yeah, I'd like to thank you too, John Bash, AKA Johnny Hawaii. You're our upline. Really appreciate your support. And I know I only have to read 90% of the books that I've got here now, which is fantastic.
You know, one thought on that too about reading books is one of the things that I've done, and I've found it very helpful, and maybe it'd be helpful for the folks that do read, is you know how when you get a book, first of all, make it yours. Underline, highlight, write notes in the columns, all that kind of stuff. But more importantly, when you're all done, bring up a Word document or whether it's a Mac, I don't know what they use on Mac, but bring up a Word document and type those thoughts and those notes that you wrote into a Word document. And you'll convert a 300-page book into 8 or 9 pages. And what you can do is like what I've done. I've got a boatload of them over here. Like, here's an example. John's book notes. This is book number 3, right? And so I can open this up and you can see the tabs. Those are different books of notes from all those different books. And the beauty of that is from, you know, whatever, Thinking Rich, The Side Edge, it doesn't matter, whatever book you happen to read or are reading, you can open those notes at any given time. And in 15 minutes, that entire book will come back to life. And you will remember those points. And those points are what helps separate you from the other people in the field, because in order to attract attractive people, we have to become attractive. And I don't mean physically. What I mean is the information we share, that person needs to be thinking, wow, that's stuff I need to know. And when they feel that, you're going to draw them to you instead of trying to drag them to you with your information that you're sharing. So books are everything. And the saying leaders are readers is so true. And make the good notes, because as Jim Rohn used to say, the drama's in the details.
That's right.
Great point.
And the results are in the action, right? Just can't read. The results are in the action. You know, you just can't read. You just got to go out and do it, right?
That's exactly right.
That's right. Well, thank you so
John,
much.
you talk about simple. I was going to just reiterate this, and you talk about duplication. I suppose simple duplication. Keep it simple. Keep it duplicatable. I'm going to take the word responsibility off you. That's okay. I love that.
Yep.
A responsor is in that word. And of course, it comes down to, obviously, I mean, end of the day, our team is going to duplicate what we do. If you're sitting at home watching TV, having a red wine, not sponsoring people, I'm going to find out about that. I'm going to know that you're not doing anything at all. And what am I going to do?
Nothing at all.
Go do the same thing.
Speed of the leaders, the speed of the team.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to set an example, and that's all part of our duplication process. So hopefully everybody gets out and does this with all our massive action and duplicates that through the team and continually re-sponsors.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Fantastic. Well, good night, everybody. And thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you again. Take care.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming on, John. We could have you every week and you'd have a different subject. Well done.
All right.